Greetings, class. So the purpose of this video is to provide you with a brief overview of Chapter 22. So I assigned Chapter 22 early because it does provide a nice overview of the specific steps in designing a quantitative study. We are at Step 1 and Step 2. We have cultivated that spirit of inquiry, and now we're looking at formulating and or refining our PICO question. Some of us are farther along than others, and that's fine. I want you to continue to explore the significance of the problem that you are looking at, your plan to address the problem, to affect change, and to improve outcomes. So this week, please dive into the literature. How can we best improve nurse retention, nurse satisfaction? Consider your problem and the outcome that you want to affect. We will continue to work on steps 1 and steps 2, and I'm hoping that by the end of the week, we can have your PICO question more developed. Your question may change, and that's okay. We need to start somewhere. So dive into the literature, begin to critique the literature and more. Generally, when there is a change in a topic, we can use some of the literature that we've already gathered. Let's take a look at the specific steps in designing a quantitative study again. We are going to begin with steps 1 and steps 2, and then step 3, where we're searching the literature. We don't need to begin that critical appraisal just yet. We'll talk more about that in the upcoming weeks. But I think what Chapter 22 does for us is it talks about study feasibility. And this is a question that you need to think about with your PICO question and whether or not you should move forward. In the discussion board, I've asked you to think through some of the questions that are posed in Chapter 22. So is your project feasible? Do we have the time and the resources to carry out your project and more? We will talk more about design as we move forward this semester, so we might not focus so much on design right now, but we will get there across the other units. So don't become overwhelmed with that content within the chapter because we will cover that as we move throughout the semester. There are also qualitative designs, and some of your projects might include a qualitative component. So I've asked you to start thinking about whether or not there would be value in adding a qualitative piece. And so when we have a quantitative and a qualitative study, then that's generally called a mixed methods project. Now, we don't want to add a qualitative piece simply to be adding a qualitative component, but consider first whether or not it does add value. Again, as we move forward this week, let's focus on the PICO question and what change can be implemented in light of evidence in the literature. Again, think about whether or not it is feasible and is it sustainable. Will it contribute to an improvement in clinical outcomes? The readings for this week, again, are Melnick Chapter 22. Assignments, please continue development of your clinical question, search strategy, and your search for evidence for your literature review. I would encourage you to respond to the discussion board prompt by Tuesday and then respond to your peers by Saturday at 11:59 p.m. The student outcomes relative to this chapter are included here. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you.